Hi, so I'm out this morning at Leighton Bromswold, and I'm going to ride a track that I've never ridden before, which is a little bit of tarmac after a couple of miles of green lane, and then down into Spaldwick, and another track for a little bit further, maybe 5 miles. And yeah, I've lost the battery box lid, so I need to modify that part of my design, and it's rather annoying having to load the drone in on the panniers that are attached permanently. So come winter I'm going to redesign the mounting connectors for the panniers on this machine, hopefully make it a little bit easier to connect and disconnect. Let's go for a ride. Pulled over to connect the DJI Bluetooth microphone to my Insta360. It's the first time I've been out, but conscious that the stick, the selfie pole, is moving so much, I thought I'd give this external microphone a go, but who knows. Let's give it a go. Right, let's continue down Belton's Lane to the village of Spaldwick and see where we go. It's quite surprising. I must be half a mile from the A14, yet how noisy the cars are. Still signs of humans. Red Bull, polythene containers. Why would you do that? So earlier I passed a gentleman on an e-bike, specifically off-roader, almost a mirror image of this type of machine, but an e-bike, I'd say early 70s, and he was thoroughly enjoying himself. Unlike my machine, you can't hear him coming, and he left no sound, whereas I am so conscious that in this environment where you can still hear a little bit of road noise from the A14 on my right here, on the north side, but I can hear bird song, and actually whilst I'm enjoying the countryside, this is quite destructive at a sound level to the environment, and I get why people get annoyed. I get it. Anyway, as I said, cameras are designed to flatten the scene. What you can't see here is I'm on quite a steep gradient. So I've just entered from Spaldwick, the second leg of the journey, and I've never ridden this track before, whereas the previous track that I filmed, up until when I crossed the A14 on Tarmac, I was familiar with its nuances, typically where the ruts were and the potholes. Here, I'm going to have to ride like a ballet dancer because there's quite a lot of leaf fall, and that can disguise some quite nasty holes. Clearly what I don't want to do is break down in this environment. Bike's running well. I've got to modify the battery box lid because that's flown off and it's gone, but I had a mind to make some clips for it. And the rear mudguard, I've got to take a closer look at the clearances left and right. As you can see in my previous video on YouTube, the rear wheel had moved ever so slightly. Well, in my left-hand pannier, the right-hand pannier as you're looking at it, I've got a number of tools which I typically don't have to take. But anyway, let's crack on. What it doesn't show, and it won't show, is I'm dancing around like a bloody big fat fairy, and having seen me mate Don come off on a cinder track on his scooter, and what you can't see, because the plane of the camera flattens everything so you don't see gradients, and you probably don't get perspective of depth, but this cinder is all the way along, and my mate Don, the scooter man, he had a nasty cropper on cinder, and it's sharp as buggery, each chip. It's not a friendly surface to come on, and my bike's fishtailing, and I'm using inappropriate language, but yeah, so I've come out of the woods. I'm on about a 2-mile stretch of track, and what's really tickled me is there's quite a steep hill to climb up, and I'm talking 1 in 3, 1 in 4, possibly a first gear job for this Bantam, which is unheard of in East Anglia, probably in Northamptonshire right now, but confirmed. So I'm going to ride this next bit of cinder track on the grass if I can, gingerly, try and get a run up that steep hill. Be a good test for the clutch, because this still has a BSA Bantam clutch in it, and I'm rather hopeful at some stage to fit a Yamaha clutch that literally bites like a dog, and when it's carrying me, the GoPros, the Instas, my sandwiches, my toolbox. This bike is certainly no lightweight, and the 175 engine D7 1966 is certainly having to work a lot harder than she probably gives the engine note for. But anyway, come on, let's go ride up this cinder track and see if we can get up that rather steep hill. So good morning. That was me riding my 1951 BSA Green Laner in earnest for the first time. It's Saturday afternoon now and it's quite late and I'm out with friends, so I need to leave her attached to the trailer, push her into the garage, and then on Sunday do a bit of a post-mortem. There are certainly some things that I've learned about myself and about the sort of kit that I should be taking. For example, I need to take a comprehensive toolkit. There, by the grace of God, go I, that nothing happened that required tools, but it's a great deal of difference when you're in the middle of a field miles away from anywhere and you could suffer something minor but would be really problematic because you're not at the side of the road, you're not having good phone reception, and friends or family can't really get to you at the location that you're riding. So I'm going to make a tool roll up with my sewing machine and take some tools along: a Phillips, a flathead, an adjustable, maybe a spare link for the rear chain, maybe a spare throttle and clutch cable for the weight that they take, and bearing in mind all of the parts you see, other than the parts that I've made, were really intended for road going machines, and when you're jumping ditches or going up and down the tracks, those parts were never spec'd for, I guess, what would be close to competition riding and the stresses that are put upon them when you're riding along. But I'm pleased to report that the initial look round the bike, there's nothing major at all. So I'm really pleased. If these short videos that I make around my green laning appeal to you, please think about hitting the like button. And if you'd like to be notified when I do the next video, please think about hitting the subscribe button. Costs you nothing, just basically gives you an alert when you next go onto YouTube with a red bell symbol that I've released my next video. So bit of work to do to her tomorrow, which I will film and talk through what I find, but I'm super chuffed. But I won't deny it, I ache. I ache. This is a young man's toy, but I'll have a bit of fun with her for a couple of years, and then psychosomatically I can think, not that it'll be the case, that I've got some of the money back that I've spent on building her. But next job is paintwork over the winter. Thanks for watching. Ride safe, everybody.